Good morning all. So as far as the last lectures are concerned, we have started with the module number 3. So what is module number 3? Free damp vibratory system. Okay. So in this particular module, so there are two types. The first one is the viscous damping and second one is nothing but the Coulomb's damping. Okay, so we started with the analysis of viscous damping and we have seen three types. The first is under damp, second we have seen the analysis of over damp system, and third we have seen the analysis of critically damped system. Okay, so we have understand the three different types of the damping system: under damp, over damp and critically damped, and we have derived the equation of output for the CT. Okay, so we have finished with the analysis of viscous damping. So in today's lecture we will understand how to solve the problems on viscous damping, and then on we will understand the analysis of a Coulomb's damping. Okay, I hope it is clear to all of you. So today we'll start with the problem number 1. So this problem has been arrived in May 2011. So let's read the problem first of all, and then I will help you to understand how to solve this particular problem. Okay, so underdamped shock absorber. Now basically in this particular problem it is already mentioned that the type of the system is underdamped. Okay, and we know that shock absorber is used in the automotive suspension system, and basically it comes under the underdamped system only. So it is designed for the motorcycle of mass 250 kg such that during the bump the damp period of vibration is limited to 3 seconds. Okay, and the amplitude of vibration should reduce to 1/18 in one cycle. Find the stiffness of the spring required K and the damping coefficient of the shock absorber C. So this is what they have asked you to solve. Okay, so step number 1, M is equal to 250 kg. It is given, the mass is given 250 kg, and what they have said, during the bump the damp period of vibration is limited to 3 seconds. So Tp is equal to 3 seconds they have given. Okay, so time period they have given 3 seconds. Is it clear? Now again they are saying that the amplitude of the vibration should reduce to 180 in one cycle. Okay, now basically to solve such type of problem, the first step is to find out the logarithmic decrement del. Now already we have understand what is the concept of logarithmic decrement and how you can calculate the zeta, that is a damping ratio zeta, from this del, that is logarithmic decrement. Okay, so that is a formula for that. Del is equal to 2 pi zeta upon square root of 1 minus zeta square. Okay, so to find zeta I have to find out del, or vice versa. So this already we have derived. Okay, now step number 1, first of all we will consider that x0 as the initial amplitude. Okay, let us say that x0 is the initial amplitude. Initial amplitude means what? At the start of the amplitude means, let us say I am drawing a diagram. If let us say this is the x output time response graph t. So let us say that the graph is been starting like this. Okay, let us say this is like this. Okay, so let us say that this initial amplitude, that is the first amplitude, is x0, and this second amplitude is nothing but the x1, and this is x3. Okay, so what is this x1? X1 is nothing but the amplitude after completion of one oscillation. One oscillation means what? One cycle. Okay, is it clear? So that is why x0 and xn. Okay, now guys, you know the formula. Okay, what is the formula? We have already derived. We know that this x del, sorry, this del is equal to logarithm is equal to 1 upon n is equal to ln of x0 upon x1, that is a 1 upon n. So this basically formula we are using for the n cycles. Okay, for n cycles 1 upon n is equal to ln into x0 upon x1. Okay, so in this case what is n? N is nothing but a number of cycles, x0 initial amplitude, x1 final amplitude. Okay, so to use this formula, first of all let us understand they have given you the amplitude of vibration should reduce to the 1/18 in one cycle. So what it means that x1, the amplitude of vibration should reduce to 1/18 in one cycle, means after one cycle what is the amplitude? X1. This x1 is equal to 1 by 18 of x0, right? It should reduce to 1/18 in one cycle, means 1 upon 18 multiplied by x0 is equal to the x1, right? I will draw the graph again. If let us say this is x0 and x1, so if this is the x0, So this x1 will be reduced from x0 like this by 1/18th of x0. This is what they have given. Okay, so let us say that x1 is equal to 1/18 upon x0, so x0 upon x1 is equal to 18. So guys, you understand that I have got a ratio of x0 upon x1. Okay, now once you got the ratio, you can say that del is equal to, you know that del is equal to 1 upon n, number of cycles, ln into x0 upon x1. This is a basic formula, right? Now here what is n? N is equal to 1. Why 1? Because we have considered only a one cycle. Okay, so 1 upon n is equal to ln of 18. So what answer you are getting? You are getting 2.89. Is it clear? I hope it is clear to you all. Okay, so this is the first step to find out the del. Now once you got the del, you can easily find out a damping factor. What is damping factor? Damping factor is nothing but that del is equal to 2 pi zeta upon square root of 1 minus zeta square. This is nothing but a derivation which we have already derived. You can watch in the earlier videos also. So del is equal to 2 pi zeta upon square root of 1 minus zeta square. Okay. Now from this what you can get? You will get a zeta. Okay. So you know that del is equal to 2.89 plus 4 pi square plus 2.89 square. So you are getting zeta. Now guys, you can see that zeta is greater than zeta is greater than 0 and is less than 1. So this is nothing but a condition of underdamped system. Okay, and already in the problem they have mentioned that you are using this system as an underdamped system in the motor cycle, that is a automotive suspension system, that is a shock absorber. So obviously if the value of zeta is should be equal less than 1 and greater than 0 only as per the type of the system. So I have got a correct answer. Now once you got zeta and once you got a logarithmic decrement, two important parameters we have derived. Now easily you can find out the stiffness of the spring. Okay, now what is stiffness of the spring? First of all, let us find omega d. What is omega d? Damped natural frequency, and they have given you the damped time period. Damped time period, that is a TP. Okay, so what is TP? 2 pi upon 3. So TP is nothing but a 3. So omega d is equal to 2 pi upon 3. So from this you are getting a omega d. Omega d means what? They have given you na TP. Okay, time period for the damped vibration is nothing but a 3. They have given, right? Time period is nothing but a 3 seconds. So 2 pi upon TP you will get 2.09 is nothing but, this is not a natural frequency. This is a damped natural frequency. Okay. Now you know that omega d is equal to omega n into square root of 1 minus zeta square, right? This is a standard formula what we have already understand. So from this what I will get? From this I will get omega n. So what is omega n you are getting? So you're getting omega n as omega n is equal to 2.30 radian per second. Now you can see the difference here. I have already said that at the start of the amplitude, let us say the amplitudes are starting. Okay, you can understand that as the amplitudes are starting, okay, they are decreasing in an exponential manner if the system is stable. Okay, so this is x0, this is x1, this is x2, this is xn. Okay, so we are always at the initial start or at the start, the amplitude of vibration is larger and the damper has not come into the action. You can consider the initial frequency as the omega n, natural frequency. Okay, and then you can see that it is going on decreasing. Okay, so corresponding frequency over here you can take it as a omega d. So you can see that omega d is lesser than omega n. Okay, that is why it is called a damped natural frequency. Okay, so next, now you know that what is omega n, square root of k upon m. This is a standard formula which we have derived. So omega n, radian per seconds, mass kg 250, and so from this I am getting a k in Newton per meter. Okay, so you can easily solve this, 1322.52 Newton per meter. Okay, now once you have got k, what they have asked? They have asked you to solve damping coefficient. Now how will you find out this? You know that zeta is equal to ratio of damping constant upon critical damping constant, and critical damping constant is nothing but a 2m omega n. Okay, now from this zeta is known, m is known, omega is known, you will get a c. So you will get some value for the c. Okay, so guys, the problems are very simple on this viscous damping. You have to just remember the formulas. Okay, so from this 0.4178 zeta, 2 into 250 mass, omega n 2.30, you are getting c, the damping constant. C is equal to Newton seconds per meter, 480.47. Okay, so I hope the problem is clear to all of you. Okay, so this is the first problem which I have solved for you. Now we will move on to the second problem. Now, what is the second problem? It has been arrived in NV December 2012. Okay. Now, second problem is also very easy. A single degree of freedom viscous dam system makes 5 oscillations per second. A single degree of freedom viscous dam system makes 5 oscillations per second. Its amplitude is reduces to 25% in 45 cycles. 25% in 45 cycles. Determine the natural nature of vibratory response of a system. Now guys, basically try to understand that this note is not given in a problem. This just I have written so that you can understand what do you what exactly they are expecting you to find out from this particular problem. So determine the nature of a vibrating system is what you have to find out whether it is an under dam, over dam, critical dam, right? So for that, first of all, you have to find out the logarithmic decrement, then damping ratio, and then identify the nature, right? So this is what exactly the problem means. So the problem is this much only: determine the nature of vibratory response of a system. Okay, so the problem is very easy actually if you understand. So first step, frequency of damp vibration. A single degree of freedom viscous damp system makes 5 oscillations per second. Now 5 oscillations per second means what? They have given you FD. FD is nothing but a 5 hertz, and hertz is nothing but a number of oscillations per second. So number of oscillations per second is nothing but a hertz. So they have given you 5 hertz. So FD is nothing but a 5 hertz. What is FD? See, basically omega D is nothing but a frequency of damp oscillation. So it is in radian per second. So when you are taking this omega D into the hertz, it becomes FD. Like omega n becomes Fn. Similarly, FD will become FD. Omega D will become FD. So depending upon the unit what you are taking, okay. So its amplitude reduced to 25% in 45 cycles. Means what? N is equal to 45. Now in last problem you had N is equal to 1. Here they are saying that you have a N is equal to 45 cycles. Sometimes you need to find out this number of cycles also. Okay. Now guys, as I said that how will you start this problem? First of all, you have to always find the logarithmic decrement. So first of all, we will consider x0 is equal to initial amplitude, and let us say x45. Now why I will take x45? Because they have given you that n is equal to 45, so number of cycles are 45, so x45 means final amplitude will be x45, right? So I'm taking it as a x45. Okay, so now what they have said, its amplitude reduces to 25% in 45 cycles. Means what? Initial amplitude was x0. After the x45, it has reduced by 25%. Which it means that your x45 is equal to, you have to reverse it, x45 is equal to 0.25 times of x0, right? 0.25 times of x0 means if you multiply this 0.25 by x0, you will get the final amplitude, that is x45. But here I exactly don't know what is x0. So first of all I want to find out x0, but I know the formula. So first of all, x45 is equal to 0.25 x0. I hope it is clear to you guys. Okay, how I am trying to solve this type of problems. Okay, so x45 is equal to 0.25 times x0. Now basic formula. Okay, now basic formula. What is the basic formula? Del is equal to 1 upon ln of x0 upon x0 upon x45, right? Initial amplitude, it's a ratio of initial amplitude upon final amplitude. So x0 upon x45, right? Now here what is x0 upon x45? It is nothing but a 1 upon 0.25. You can get this from this particular relation, right? And you can put here and you will get a del. Okay, so this is what I am getting. So finally del is equal to this, and put it x0 upon x45, 1 upon 0.25. N is nothing but a 145. Huh? Remember, now you can't put 1 because number of cycles are 45. Okay, so from this I am getting del. Now guys, you know that when you're getting a del, what is damping factor? Zeta is equal to, try to remember this formula, del is equal to 2 pi zeta upon square root of 1 minus zeta square. From this formula, you can directly put into the calci the value of del and you will get a value of zeta, or you can use this formula also, zeta is equal to del upon square root of 4 pi square upon del square, and from this you will get an answer as zeta is equal to 0.0047. Now what they have asked, identify the nature of the system. So easily you can say that the value of zeta is greater than 0, less than 1. So type of the system is underdamped system. I have not completed yet. Type of the system is underdamped system. Now when the system is underdamped system, what they have asked, identify the nature of the response. Now you know that the nature of the response is two types, either exponential or either oscillatory. Watch earlier videos basically to understand this concept. Okay, now we know that for underdamped system the nature of the response is what? Oscillatory. Okay, remember this, because there will be oscillations in the transient response. This is a transient response. Okay, and when it you will get exponential for the critically damped and overdamped system. Okay, I hope this problem number 2 is also clear to you. Chalo. Now we will move on to the next problem. So now we will solve one more problem on DOM May 2019, May 2014. Okay. Now in time vibrating system, the mass having 20 kgs makes oscillation 40 oscillations in 25 seconds. The amplitude of natural vibration decreases to 1/8 of the initial value after 8 oscillations. Determine logarithmic decrement, damping factor, spring stiffness and damping coefficient. Okay, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 terms they have told you to find out. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so chalo, let's start. First of all, for this particularly they have given you what is given data. M is equal to 20 kg and N is equal to 8. Okay, makes 40 oscillations in 25 seconds. The amplitude of natural vibration after 8 oscillations. They have given you after 8 oscillations. So N is equal to 8. Okay, now first of all, again uh, first step is always logarithmic decrement. So let us say x0 is the initial amplitude, x8 is the final amplitude. Okay, so this is basic statement. Now I have drawn a diagram here to understand. You can see that x0 is the initial amplitude, x1 is the second, x2 is the third, and let us say x8 is the final. Okay, so you can see that the amplitudes are decreasing in an exponential manner only. Okay, and what is time period? Time taken to complete one cycle. So here time taken to complete one cycle is nothing but the TP. Time period is nothing but the TP. So from x0 to x1 is, let us say, one cycle, x1 to x2 is two cycle, one cycle, let us say this is 3 and onwards. Okay, so this is nothing but the time period. Okay, now why I have drawn this diagram, you will understand. First of all, we know that what is x8? They have given x8 is equal to 1 upon 8 into x0. See, the amplitude of vibration decreases to 1/8 of the initial value. Means what? This x8 is decreased from x0 by 1 upon 8 times. This you can understand from this figure. So x0 upon x8 is equal to 8. Now guys, if you have understand this, what is the next step? What is the next step? ln. Okay, you can easily find out del is equal to 1 upon n. I will erase this. Del is equal to 1 upon n ln of x0 upon x8, right? So what you are getting from this? You are getting del is equal to 1 upon 8 log of ln of 8, and from this you are getting del is equal to 0.2599. Now again, as usual, find out the damping factor. Zeta del is equal to 2 pi zeta upon square root of 1 minus zeta square. Okay, so this is a basic formula. So from this what I am getting? From this what I am getting? Zeta 0.04009. Okay, so again zeta is 0.0409, less than, greater than 0, less than 1. The system is an underdamped system. Now they have asked you, first step to, this is a 1, this is a 2. Now third step they have asked you to find out the K, spring stiffness. Okay, now how will you find out the spring stiffness? Okay, now we know that omega n is equal to square root of K upon n. Okay, we know this. Okay, but we don't know omega n and we don't know K also, and we know n. So we have a two unknowns here. Okay, so I cannot use this formula directly. Before that I have to find out first omega n. Now how will you find out omega n? How will you find out omega n? Now basically guys, try to understand. In experimentation type, in experiments I have explained you how to find out the experimental time period. So experimental time period is nothing but the time for n oscillations divided by number of x oscillations. Time for n oscillations divided by number of oscillations. So what is the time? For example, let us say there are 8 cycles or 8 oscillations. Okay, for 8 oscillations the required time is, let us say, 25. Okay, and in and let us say to complete this 25 oscillations, okay, complete this 25 oscillations, let us say you are taking you are requiring some x time. Okay, so basically how will you find out this? So TP is equal to time for n oscillation. Now what is the time for n oscillations? You can see, I will go move back here. You can see here the mass having 20 kg makes 40 oscillations in 25 seconds. This statement is very important. 40 oscillations in 25 seconds. Okay, now 40 oscillations in 25 seconds means what? So basically you can find out TP is equal to 25, that is time for n oscillations, and what is number of oscillations they have given you? 40. They have given you number of oscillations as a 40. Okay, so TP is equal to 25 upon 40, you can find out. So basically this data is being given you to find out TP only, right? Try to understand. Time period means what? Time taken to complete one cycle. Okay, now if you don't know the time for the one cycle, and if you know time for the number of cycles or number of oscillations, you can derive this formula or find out this TP in this manner. Okay, which manner? This time for n oscillations upon number of oscillations. Remember this. Okay, so let us say that TP is equal to 25 upon 40. Basically I have this one small correction. Instead of 40 I have taken 45. Doesn't matter, you can take any. If so that is just a correction small. Okay, if you are taking a 40, you can also calculate. So TP is equal to 25 and 40, 0.625. So this is nothing but a time period. Now once you got a time period, guys, I know you can find out omega d. What is omega d? Omega d is nothing but a 2 pi upon time period, right? This is nothing but omega d. So you can find out omega d 2 pi upon 0. So 10.05 radian per seconds. Okay, you can see how I am utilizing the formulas, right? So now you can find out omega d is equal to omega into square root of 1 minus zeta square. From this you will get omega n, and from omega n you will get k upon n in radian per seconds. Clear? So now omega n is equal to omega into square root of 1 minus zeta square. Omega d is equal to 10.05. I find out this omega d from this formula. TP from that formula, 25 upon 45. Okay, so from this I will get omega n. Now once you get omega n, what is the formula? Omega n radian per second, square root of k upon m. M is 20 kg. So from this you will get k. So what answer you are getting finally? You can solve at, see, I am just explaining you. You try to solve it at your home. Okay, particularly. So k is equal to 2. What is the answer? 2024.256 Newton per meter. Okay, so this is your problem number 3. I hope you have understand this, how to solve this problem. Okay, and now last step is nothing but a damping coefficient. As usual, zeta is equal to c upon cc, c upon 2 n omega n. So from this you can find out, you know n, you know omega n, you can find out the c. So what is the damping coefficient? So damping coefficient is c is equal to 16.56 Newton seconds per meter. Is it clear? Okay, so after solving you are getting, you solve it your own and check whether the answers are correct or not. Okay, I hope you have understand this. So we'll move on to the next problem. One more problem, that is problem number 7. Okay, now problem number 7, again it is been repeated, May 2015 problem. A viscously damped spring mass damper system has mass of 10 kg, damping coefficient of 150 Newton per second meter, spring stiffness. Determine the values of damping ratio, damp natural frequency. See, they are just you can say changing some data, and they are try to mix up the particular problem, and finally ultimately you have to shuffle the formulas, and finally ultimately you have to find the same, that is a damping ratio, damp natural frequency, logarithm decrement. Okay, so there is a list of formulas which I will give you at the end, which you have to always remember. Already we have derived the same. So m is equal to 10 kg, c they have given, k they have given. So I think the data is almost given in this case. So it is easy. What is the first step? The first step is to find out a damped natural frequency. Okay. Now first of all, to find out a damped natural frequency, let us find natural frequency omega n, square root of k upon m. So I am getting 10 radian per second. 1000 upon 10. K is 1000. Mass is 10. Okay. So what is zeta? Then you can find out the zeta. Zeta is equal to c upon cc, where c is nothing but cc is nothing but a 2n omega n, or you can write it as a 2 square root of k into n. Okay, so these are the two formulas what you are getting. You can use any of the formula and you will get the same answer. So zeta is equal to 0.75. So zeta is less than 1, greater than 0. Obviously the system is under damped system and the nature of the response will be oscillatory. Oscillatory means what? It will like this, decreasing amplitude x t. Okay, decreasing amplitude in oscillatory manner, exponential manner, sorry. Okay, so now omega d, damped natural frequency. First of all, values of damping ratio zeta. Okay, done. Now damped natural frequency omega d, omega into square root of 1 minus zeta square. So omega n I know, zeta I know. So I will get omega d as 6.61 radian per seconds. You can see it is 10 as if omega d is always, you can see omega d is always less than omega n, because omega n is a natural frequency of a free vibration. Free vibration means what? You have not applied an external damper, and once the external damper comes into the action, the frequency becomes a damped frequency, that is omega d. Means what? The amplitude goes on decreasing, and the rate of decay of amplitude is determined or measured by the parameter called as a logarithmic decrement del. This is the interrelations, right? You have to remember. You can watch earlier videos also. Okay, so now FD, this omega d answer is also correct. You can convert this FD into hertz. How will you convert? You know that FD is equal to omega d upon 2 pi. That is 1 upon 2 pi into omega d. So you will get the answer in hertz also. Okay, so if you keep this answer in radian per second, that is also correct. You can also find in hertz also. Okay, no. And next, finally, what they have asked, logarithmic decrement del. So del is equal to 2 phi zeta upon square root of 1 minus zeta square. So that is 7.12, right? Logarithmic decrement, because we know na zeta, what is zeta? 0.75. Okay, is it clear? Chalo. Now I will solve the next problem, which is again asked in MADE MV, mechanical vibration. MV means what? Mechanical vibration paper, May 2015. Okay, so a vibratory system is to be designed in a vehicle. Now here you have to design a vibratory system with following parameters: K 100 Newton per C 2 Newton seconds, M 1 kg. Calculate a decrease of amplitude from its starting value after 3 complete oscillations and determine the nature of vibratory response. Again, whether it is oscillatory or whether it is. Now basically you are designing this for a vehicle. Na? You are designing this for a vehicle. So for a vehicle, always it is under damped, because zeta is always less than 1 and greater than 0 in vehicle, because we are always using oscillatory response. Okay, so let's start. K is equal to 100 Newton per meter, C is equal to 2 Newton seconds per meter, and M is equal to 1 kg. So this is given. Okay, given. Chalo. First step, find out omega n, natural frequency. See, whenever the K is given, M is given, straightforward calculate the omega n. This is always your first step. If K is not given and if M, either of the K or M is not given, then you have to first of all find del, then you have to find out the zeta, and then you can find out the omega d and omega n, and then C. So you have to go reverse. But in this case, directly find out omega n. Now, omega is 10. Now you can find out Cc, 2m omega n, or 2 into square root of K upon n. Same formula. Okay. Chalo. Now what is zeta? C upon Cc, 0.10. Now see that zeta is very very close to 0, but it is greater than 0. So you cannot, you know that when zeta is equal to 0, system is called the undamped system. Model number 3 means what? There is no external damper for undamped system. Zeta is 0, but here zeta is close to 0 but greater than 0, so it is underdamped system. Okay, finally. So zeta, value of zeta is very very less. I hope you understand this. Okay. So next step is del. Now you know, now we are going reverse. First of all we are finding del and then we are finding zeta. Now here I find out zeta and now I am finding del. So formulas are same. You have to just shuffle the formulas. Okay. Chalo. So what is zeta? Del 0.63. Why? You just put a zeta over here. Okay. Now once you find out the zeta, now what they have asked, I will move backward. Calculate a decrease of amplitude from its starting value. Starting value means what now guys? Decrease of amplitude from its starting value after 3 complete oscillations means what? N is equal to 3. They are saying that there are 3 oscillations, N is equal to 3. And starting value means what? Starting value is nothing but the x0, initial amplitude, and x3 is, let us say, final amplitude after 3. So you have to find out the relation between the x0 and x3. Okay, let's start. Okay, chalo. So what is the first step? Del is equal to 1 upon n ln of x0 upon xn. This is the formula. So basically 1 upon n 1 upon n into ln of x0 upon x3, because n is nothing but a 3 na, after f cycle. So finally what you are getting, n is equal to 3. So 0.63 is equal to 1 upon 3, 1 upon 3 into ln of, so 0.63 is equal to 1 upon 3 into ln of x0 upon x3, right? Okay, now from this relation what you are getting, from this we are getting the relation 0.63 multiply cross multiply here. So you are getting x0 upon xn. Basically you are getting x0, I will write it x0 upon x3 is equal to, because this is nothing but the x0 upon x3, so this is x3, right? You can take xn also, but we know now that n is equal to 3. So x0 upon x3 is equal to ln of 0.63 into 3. So that is nothing but, what is that, 6.62 you are getting answer. Okay, you are getting 6.62 something if you calculate. Okay, so finally what you are getting, finally you are getting x0 upon xn is equal to, if this ln you move over here to the left hand side, you are getting e raised to 1.89. Sorry, this 0 point, it's not 6.62, 0.63 into 3 is 1.89. It's 1.89. I will rewrite this. I will rewrite this. 1.89 is equal to ln of x0 upon x3. So finally what you are getting, x0 upon xn is equal to e raised to 1.89. Okay, is it clear? I hope it is clear to you. Okay, so x0 upon xn is equal to e raised to 1. Sorry, yeah, e raised to 1.89 is nothing but a 6.62. Okay, so finally what you are getting, xn is equal to 1, means what, this xn is nothing but x3 na. So x3 is equal to 1 upon 62 into x0. So what they have asked, okay, they have asked this, the relation x3 and the x0, relation between the x3 and x0. So what I am getting, amplitude decreases, so I can say that the amplitude decreases by 1 by 6.62 of initial amplitude. Okay, I will move backward. You can see calculate the decrease of amplitude from its starting value after 3 complete oscillations. Okay, so what is the answer, final answer? After 3 complete oscillations, amplitude decreased by 1 upon 6.62 times of initial amplitude, that is a x0. This is your final answer. And now they have asked you what is the nature of response. Very simple. Since zeta is greater than 1 and less than 1 and greater than 0, the system is underdamped and the nature of response is oscillatory. Is it okay? I hope you have understand this problem. Okay.